Okay, welcome to today's battle rep. My name's Patrick from Banana for Scale Wargaming.
And I'm John.
Okay, so just first time we've done sort of an introduction like this, so you can actually see our faces and see who's behind the armies. Today I'm playing Necrons and John is playing Craft World, Eldari. And just a little background on Banana for Scale Wargaming. So the reason we are called Banana for Scale Wargaming is because Mike, one of the other guys from our group, when we used to do back reps just for each other and put them on our WhatsApp group, one of the first ones we ever done, he was doing it and there was a banana on the table and he was like, Bananas for Scale, and it just sort of grew from there. We changed our WhatsApp name to Banana for Scale Wargaming. And that's why we started our YouTube channel as that name. So we're just going to go on to talk about the FAQ that's recently come out. Was it 2 days ago?
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah, so 2 days ago we had the big FAQ. So we are actually going to follow those rules and including the beta rules as well. So we're playing 2,000 points. So that means that we can only have a maximum of 3 of any data sheet in the army. We discussed it as a group. Obviously, it was pretty big news when it came out, and we discussed it as a group on WhatsApp, and we were all pretty pleased. Even the people that it affects, obviously, it's affected the Eldar in terms of points, hasn't it?
Slightly, yeah. Only really on a couple of the HQs and
Yeah.
Dark Reapers, which I'm not running today. But yeah. I think it's more Deep Strike has been the
yeah, Deep Strike's obviously
taken
a bit of a hit in terms of you can only Deep Strike in your deployment zone for the first turn, can't you? And then after that you can deep strike as normal. So for any deep striking armies, that's obviously gonna hinder them, or could hinder them. So we have the Necrons, which I'll be playing. This is my second game with the new codex. So I've got a battalion detachment and also a spearhead detachment. So in the spearhead detachment, we have 2 Doomsday Arcs and a heavy destroyer. He's not actually kitted out as a heavy destroyer, but I'm playing as a heavy destroyer. And then we have Illuminus Azares as the HQ for that detachment. He is also the Warlord, and when he is the Warlord, you have to give him Immortal Pride, which means that the good thing about Illuminus Azares is even if you're playing different dynastic codes, which I am, so the Spearhead detachment is the Niliac, which gives you reroll 1s when shooting if you don't move. So the good thing with Illuminus Azares, although he doesn't get the dynastic code, because he doesn't have to have the dynasty, so he just does all Necrons. So his 4-up, for instance, on reanimation protocol goes to all of the Necron infantry units, not just ones that are in his dynasty. And it's the same with his Warlord trait, so he gets any Necron units that are within, I think it's within 3 or 6 inches, don't suffer morale, which is pretty good. And also he gets to deny 1 psychic power, so he gets to deny the witch once per turn. So that's the spearhead. With the battalion detachment, I'm running 16 warriors, 5 immortals with Tesla and another 5 immortals with Tesla, and that makes up the troop choices. Then we have the Cryptek, who is taking the Chronometron, which gives the 5-up invuln for any unit within 3 inches of him. Any infantry unit within 3 inches of him. And then we have the Overlord, who will be taking the relic or artifact, if you like, which is the Veil of Darkness, which allows him to essentially deep strike at the end of any of the turns. So also we have 3 Scarab bases. we have 5 Tomb Blades, and they all have the Shield Veins and Shadow Loom, which gives them a 3-up save and a 5-up invuln. And then they have harder to hit evasion engrams, which is just built into them anyway now, which is new from the Codex. They're actually running Tesla, so they're not WYSIWYG, but they are running Tesla. We have 5 Lich Guard, who all have war sides. I just prefer the war sides. I know everyone says you should take them with sword and board because they're more durable, but I'm hoping that won't matter. But we'll see. And then we have the 5 destroyers over here, which are, as we know in the new Codex, they've got slightly better, and there's a good stratagem to use, which is only 1 command point where they re-roll all hits and wounds.
And they were really good anyway, weren't they?
Yeah, they were strong, yeah. So I think Games Workshop wanted to sell some. So, but yeah, they're really, really good, and and also the fact that the Tomb Blades and the Destroyers get reanimation, which is really good, whereas like, for instance, Wraiths and Canaptic stuff doesn't. And then lastly, we have the Citan, and I have given him Antimatter Meteor and Sky of Falling Stars. Although he gets to take 2 powers, he's only allowed to lose 1 per turn. In my last one, I accidentally cheated, and he was using 2 for a couple of turns. And yeah, so the heavy destroyers obviously got the heavy Gauss cannon, and the normal destroyers have got the normal Gauss cannons. And so the battalion is Mefrit. So it's the one with, if you're within 12 inches, you get a -1 to the AP. So for instance, the warriors have a normal -1, they'll have -2, and anything with Tesla within 12 will have -1 because they don't normally have. I think that's it. So with the new FAQ rules, I get 5 for the battalion, 1 for the spearhead, and then 3 for being battleforged, which gives me 9. Yep. If I'm correct, yeah. So 9 command points to John's 10. We're going to set up the board, and then we'll talk through what mission we're running, and the deployment and everything like that. Okay, so we have the board set up. We're playing the Maelstrom of War mission Sealed Orders from the chapter approved. This is the one where you generate attack objectives and you can't you don't show your opponent, so hence the Sealed Orders, and that will you generate 6 tactical objectives on your first turn, and I believe you can't get rid of them without using the stratagem which comes on with the mission called Acceptable Losses. So we rolled off for the deployment, and we got Spearhead Assault, so both 9 inches from the centre, and it comes down in that diagonal down to 12 inches from the side of the board. So we are going to deploy. We're going to roll off. So we're going to deploy, and then we will roll off to see who goes first. Just a quick shout out to Mad Gaming Terrain for these hab blocks. Absolutely awesome. They're so versatile. All the stuff you can do with them is really, really good. You can just change your scenery, the way it's set up every turn. This is all magnetised. Really good stuff. Okay, so we have deployed. The Necrons have deployed at this end. Got a couple of Doomsday Arcs in the middle, so we can try and get their line of sight. And then just deployed down here. Then we move over to the Craft World. Ulthwe, we are deployed. Like so. John's just going to talk through the powers that he's given each Psyker.
Okay, we'll start with the Wraith, the Hemlock Wraith Fighters. So we've got these two. Both have Jinx right there, which from memory, it's 18 inches from the Psyker, add 1 to saving throws, so that's useful against the opponents there. The other Hemlock over the other side of the table has Horrify. Horrify is a further -1 to leadership, which is good because they already get -2 within their certain range. You've got the Spirit Seer, who's hidden back here. He's actually embarked in this Wave Serpent. He also has Horrify. and obviously Smite, they will have access to that.
And he has Embolden as well, yeah.
Oh yeah, so yeah, he can do Embolden as well. And the Farseer, who's embarked in this Wave Serpent, has both Guide and Doom, as well as the obvious Smite. Guide and Doom being reroll wounds and reroll hit throws. So yeah, all quite useful.
Okay, so we're going to go into the roll-off. So Craftworld, Eldar finish deploying first, so they will get a +1 to their roll. So I got 2, so you're going to draw that at least. Oh.
Shall I roll again?
Yeah.
Right underneath.
Got a 6. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can seize the initiative.
Ooh.
I can't with a 1. Okay, so we're going into Craftworld turn 1.
So here we go, here are the objective cards I drew. I did stupidly move first, but I'm happy to stick with what I've got here. So I'll give you a bit of a pan. There's one. And another. And another. And another. 5th and the 6th and final card there. Now I'll turn these over because poor old Pat's having to stand in the corner facing the wall and talk through the movement. So all I've done basically is move all the Wave Serpents into one point in the middle here. Didn't want to disembark anything quite this turn, so left them as they are to a degree. The Rangers have come in. We've got one unit just here, which you can see gets a fair old view of the battlefield, and another unit just over here, again gets a fair old view of what's going on. And from here you can see where we've moved the Wind Riders. They've just come up towards Objective 3, which is a bit shiny, so you can't see it's Objective 3, but moved up there 16 there. And the Hemlocks have moved up across the battlefield, so one in the back just there, another one just there. Those are the two with Jinx, and the third one with Horrify right next to a big blob of Necronness. So that's the movement phase. So far we've still got War Walkers who haven't come on, because we are playing sort of the deep strike rules as such, and their scout we're saying is the same as, so they're not going to come on quite yet because I want them to be a bit further up and a bit more effective. That's the end of Ulthwe Craftworld turn 1. Right, so we combined the psychic phase and the shooting phase because I was really eager, and it kind of didn't work out very well. The only psychic I could do was the 3 Hemlocks. So first we did Horrify on the Warriors down here, which we got off, which is good. Then attempted to jinx them with this Hemlock, but it failed. We then attempted the last psychic power would be Smite, which was going on to the closest enemy unit, which are the Scarab bases, unfortunately. Tried that, didn't go off, bit of a waste anyway, but there we go. Then shooting phase, we had the 5 Wind Riders shot through at the Warriors. Did they take anyone? No, it didn't take anyone out. It was then the 2 Hemlocks D-size, these 2 shot in, and we took out 5 Warriors who are no doubt going to come back next turn. The last Hemlock shot at the Annihilation Barge. Doomsday Ark, sorry. Took 4 wounds, but it had its crafty Necron save, which took that down to 1 going through, which is 2 wounds off it, so that was fun. Then it was Ranger time. This squad of Rangers shot up here at the Immortals. Yeah. Did 1 mortal wound on them, so 1 went. The other squad of Rangers shot at the heavy destroyer and did absolutely nothing.
Saved.
Yeah, he saved his save, which wasn't difficult because they've got no AP. It wasn't a 6 or anything. So yeah, that's the end of Craftworld turn 1. Over to Pat for the Necrons turn 1.
Okay, so Necron turn 1, we reanimated and we got 3 warriors back, and then Living Metal on the Doomsday Ark one. We didn't get the Immortal back over there. So tactical objectives, I won't shout out because John's within listening distance. So as you can see, they're all achievable. Maybe not all on this turn, but they're all achievable. So I think a good 6 tactical objectives for the first turn. So for movement, we've just moved some Immortals up. we've moved the tomb blades around to get them within 12 inches. So they get the minus 1 AP of the Mephrit dynastic code. Just moved the Immortals over here. We moved the Scarabs around to claim objective 2 there. These warriors are claiming objective 1. Yeah, that's about it. We didn't really move that much because we're sort of going to try and deal with these hemlocks that are up in our face. So yeah, we're going to go into the psych and shooting phase. Obviously, the psych phase will be pretty quick because I'm Necrons. But I have actually got to do the C-Tan power, so I'll do that straight after this video. Okay, so end of Necrons turn 1 shooting phase. So we didn't have any psych, but we did do the C-Tan anti-matter meteor and done 2 damage into this hemlock here. We then fired this Doomsday Arc into the hemlock. John used a stratagem, which is called lightning fast reactions, which makes it -1 to hit, and obviously it's already -1 to hit, so it was -2 to hit, which wasn't very good, and we did do 1 extra wound on it, and ended up taking it down to 9. We then we fired this heavy destroyer into the wave serpent down here, and rolled 1 damage. We got the wound through and rolled 1 damage, stratagemed it, command re-rolled it, rolled 1 damage again, and that damage did fortunately go through. He's failed the Ulthwe save. Then we fired this lot of destroyers and used the stratagem extermination protocols at the hemlock that was here and killed it. First we fired the warriors at it and took 1 wound down, but they killed it quite convincingly. These couple of the HQs fired didn't really do much. These Immortals fired into the Wind Riders and took 1 out and 1 down to 1 wound. These Immortals fired into them Rangers and they saved everything because they get a 2+ to their save if they're in cover. So they went from a 5 to a 3. The Tomb Blades fired at that hemlock. Don't think they even done any damage to it. And that was it. The C-Tan fired but didn't damage. So we are moving into the charge and fight phase, which shouldn't be too long. Okay, end of Necron turn 1. So the charge and assault phase. We charged in the C-Tan. John actually used again the lightning fast reactions. The C-Tan managed to get 2 wounds through, and the hemlock didn't have a save, so rolled 6 damage, 5 and a 1. I re-rolled the 1, used command point to re-roll the 1, and I rolled a 6, so it was 11 damage. And then John rolled 2 of the Ulthwe saves, 2 6s, but it was 9, it was enough, and it actually exploded, done 2 mortal wounds to the C-Tan, and it done 3 mortal wounds to my Doomsday Arc because it was anything within 6 inches. So although it died, did do some damage on its way out. And that was it for the charge and assault phase. There was no morale to take. So I scored first blood. I also got no prisoners. I only got 1 point for that because I only destroyed 2. I got secure objective 2 with the Scarabs just round at the back there. And then I got secure objective 1 here. So up to 4 victory points. And I've still got 3 tactical objectives left. So we're going into the Ulthwe turn 2.
Right, that's the end of Craft World movement phase turn 2. I still have these 3 cards left at the moment. I've got to clear these before I can pull another 5 objectives, it'll be, won't it? So those are what I've got left. Let's pump those down. All we've done this turn is we've moved one of the wave serpents across. Objective 5 just there. Move towards that. This one's moved up from the back here. No disembarking as yet. None of the serpents moved up a bit. These Wind Riders stayed still. They've got a 24-inch range on their shuriken cannons, and the warriors obviously have a bit harder hitting when you're within 12 inches, so I thought I'd stay clear of that. Rangers staying still. Hemlock's moved right to the back corner of the table. He's probably going to go at the end of this turn, I would think, looking at 6 wounds left, but there we go. And we've got the War Walkers have been brought on with their twin shuriken cannons, so we'll see what sort of damage they can do. Next up, Psychic phase. Right, so that's the end of the shooting phase, which was absolutely catastrophic on my part. I decided I wanted to take out this lot of Immortals, so I started off by shooting these Wind Riders shuriken cannons in them. They did nothing. So I shot this Wave Serpent's trio of shuriken cannons at it. It did fuck all, not a lot. So I decided to use this trio of shuriken cannons, and we took some out. No? No. Which one was it? Oh, it was the War Walkers, wasn't it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it was the War Walkers, and used all 6 of theirs, and finally took some out.
Yeah, he took 4 out.
He took 4 out. He then had, well, there was one that had a save left, wasn't it?
Well, the Rangers shot.
2 lots of Rangers shot. The first squad managed to take one out, but Pat decided to command point reroll one of the ones he rolled, which he passed. So the second unit shot and did nothing. He saved his saves. I then decided to pop a Serpent Shield, then rolled a 1 when I needed a 2. So that failed. So I decided to command point that and rolled a 1. So I decided to use a stratagem whereby I get to overload Field Projector, where I get to discharge it again, and rolled a 1. So yeah, he's got an Immortal standing. I'm the king of rolling 1s. All we did other than that was this Hemlock discharged its D-scythes into the destroyers and took one of them out. But overall, as I said, a pretty catastrophic phase.
What about cards? Did you get any?
Yes, I think I have got. Well, that one I didn't. That one potentially, and that one yes. So I have got at least 1 card, but the others are ongoing, shall we say? So let's go to Necron turn 2.
Okay, end of Necron turn 2 movement. Just the end of last turn, we did get defend objective 2, so I've got another 2 victory points, so I'm up to 6. The Warriors moved up. I actually remembered to do augmentation with Illuminous Osiris this turn, and they've got a +1 to their ballistic skill. I reanimated 1 warrior. I didn't reanimate any of these Immortals, so he's still on his own. I did reanimate that Immortal over there, and I reanimated one of the Destroyer. Moved up the C-Tan, back up this way. Moved up the Tomb Blades up the middle, moved these warriors up a little bit. And then a Vowed Darkness, my Overlord, with 5-inch guard over here. And we're going to try and do some charging shenanigans. And see if they can do anything. So, in terms of the cards I've got left, they are these 2. So, I'm not sure if we'll be able to get them this turn, but we will see. We will see. So, we're going to go into the shooting phase for the Necrons. Okay, so end of Necron turn 2 shooting. The Destroyers ended up taking out the last Hemlock. Used the stratagem again, Extermination Protocols, which has been really, really good, invaluable to me. We shot the Warriors down at the Wind Riders.
Wind Riders, yeah.
Yeah. And the Immortal Win, and we took all of them out bar 1, which is on 1 wound. We shot a fair amount into this. Shot Doomsday Arc and Tomb Blades into this Wave Serpent, and it's now down to 3 wounds. These Immortals shot these Guardians, Rangers, sorry, took 1 down. This Heavy Destroyer just whiffed, didn't do anything. We did get 1 wound down on this Wave Serpent, down back here with one of the Doomsday Arcs. And that was about it for shooting. So we're going to go into the charge and assault phase. Okay, so end of Necron turn 2. Everyone failed their charge. So the Lich Guard failed their charge, the Overlord failed their charge, but the War Walkers did take 1 wound on Overwatch down on the Lich Guard. So, like I said at the beginning of the turn, we did get Defend Objective 2. We still haven't got these 2. I'm not sure if we're going to have to spend some stratagem, some command points and get rid of some stratagems, but it is 1 command point to get rid of some cards, and so I can get some new cards. Might be something we're going to have to do, but I'll have to think about it. We'll go into the Ulthwe turn 3.
Right, so that's Craft World movement and psychic phase, turn 3. All we've done here, we've disembarked all the Guardians from these 2 Wave Serpents and their respective HQs. So the Farseer, who's nestled in there, and the Autarch right there. They've disembarked. The War Walkers have moved up to sort of become a bit of a screening unit. The Wave Serpent that was on Objective 5 has just jogged himself up the field a bit. Why not? Rangers are staying put at the moment. This Wave Serpent's opened himself up with a bit of shooting on the Lich Guard. We have put, with our psychic powers, we had 2 go off. So Lich Guard have got Doom, which is so it's re-rolled failed wound rolls, which is useful. And the War Walkers have got Guide, which is re-roll failed hit rolls during their phase. Obviously Autarch gives them re-rolls of 1s within his aura, which is going to encompass both of those units there, may even encompass that Wave Serpent, so I'll double check the distance on that. But that's the end of movement and psychic phase. Right, so that's the end of my shooting phase. Guide and Doom helped out quite a bit. With Guide, we took out how many warriors was there?
You took out 3, 4, 7.
7 warriors, which is nice to have a 16-man unit. That's not bad, but they'll obviously all come back. We managed to use a lot of the Guardians and Guardian Fire and Fire from this Wave Serpent and its Serpent Shield to get rid of the unit of Lich Guard, which were doomed. And also managed to take a couple of wounds off of the Overlord. Other than that, Rangers both shot at the last Immortal that was up there, and so did the Wave Serpent over here, I believe, and got rid of that one. And the last Wind Rider was reasonably effective. I think he got rid of one of the Lich Guard as well for me. But yeah, all said and done, not too bad a shooting phase. Charging phase, I don't believe I'm going to charge anything, but that may change, so I will keep you updated. Cards wise, we've managed to defend Objective 3, that's been done, and no prisoners has also been done, so I am to draw 5 new cards next turn, so huzzah!
Okay, end of Necron turn 3 movement. We've moved this blob of warriors and HQs up, moved the destroyers up, Doomstar to stay where they are, these heavy destroyers stay where he is, Immortals stay where they are, Scarabs have moved up, the Cetans moved over, Tomb Blades have moved up, the Overlord over the back there moved a bit closer to the Guardians, so we're going to go into the shooting phase and Cetan power. Okay, Necron turn 3 shooting. So we shot. So we done anti-matter meteor with the Cetan into these Rangers and got rid of 3 of them. We fired this heavy destroyer and these Immortals into the Wave Serpent here and destroyed it. Oh, we also fired Luminous Azaris and actually got the killing shot with it. We fired both Doomsday Arcs into this one, missed completely, and the other one ended up taking it down. Actually got 12 wounds through, 12 damage, and it had 12 wounds, and John managed to save 2 on the Ulthwe, so it is still limping around. We shot all the destroyers into the War Walkers and took them down, took 2 of them out. There was another one and 1 down, 1 wound, yeah. And then all the warriors shot in and only took it down another wound. So that war walker's on 4 now. The Tomb Blades shot into this Guardian squad at the back and took out 7 of them. So that was all the shooting. So we're going to go into the charge phase. So the Scarab's going to be charging over here and the Overlord's going to be charging over there. So we'll give you a roundup of what happens once it's happened. Okay, end of charge and assault phase. So over here we charged the Lone Ranger and took him out, and we got objective 6. So because we had 3 objectives, we achieved the supremacy card. We also charged in over here. We fought against the Autarch, took him down 3 wounds, and he done 2 wounds back to me, which was fairly even. So I'm going to roll the D3 for supremacy. So rolled a 6, so I get 3 victory points for that. Also, John spent 2 command points to auto pass the morale of the Guardians down here. So we're going to be going into Ulthwe turn 4.
Right, so that's the end of movement phase in turn 4 for the craft world. I've pulled 5 new objective cards because I got rid of all of mine. So what I have, I'm just spreading out below for you. So we've got that one there, which movement has made possible. That one there, which again I believe is going to be fairly possible. That one there, which could well be. This one here, which again is going to be, is manufactured to be, and this one here which isn't at the moment, so I don't think I'm going to bother particularly with that one. But that's what we've got. Essentially I've moved this last Wind Rider back onto objective 4, crowding around his Overlord. We've moved the Wave Serpent from back here into the old objective 3 slot, just to put something between the Guardians and these Tomb Blades. The other War Walker disembarked its squad of Guardians and its Spirit Seer. The Rangers are staying put, they like it there. And this War Walker, the last War Walker, has moved up, so he's pretty close to these warriors here. But that is the end of the movement phase. Moving on to Psychic phase and Shooting phase next. Right, so that's end of Psychic and Shooty phase. Psychic phase, we had the Farseer cast Doom on the warriors over here, which did help out a fair bit, to be fair. And then he smited the Overlord who was in there and took him out. The Spirit Seer, thanks to Pat reminding me, then did smite on the Tomb Blades, sorry, and took one of them out. Yep. Took one of them out.
And one upper wound.
We had a load of shooting from Guardians. So first off, in fact, the War Walker shot at the warriors and took out 3 or 4 or so. Yeah. Then we basically had loads of shuriken cannons and shuriken gun platforms and shuriken catapults shoot at the Tomb Blades, and took them pretty much out. Lost 4 of those there.
Yep. Well, 1 from smite and then the other another 3.
Still obviously possible to reanimate, but we'll see how we get on with that. Other than that, I think that's pretty much all that happened there. So we're moving on to the charge and assault phasing now. Right, so that's the end of the combat phase. We charged in the War Walker here. He took a wound, but he took down a further 1 warrior, another warrior, which is good there. All of these guys piled in. Spirit Seer took out the Tomb Blade, which is nice. That was all the charging I did, but I did manage to get a load of objective points. So we got, for Legacy of Sorrow, 1 victory point for an enemy character, which was the Overlord.
So I'll put this up on here?
Yeah, please. We've then got Kane's Wrath. Score 1 victory point if during your turn a friendly Craftworld unit successfully charged an enemy unit. If 3 or more friendly Craftworld units made a successful charge, score D3.
That's D3 then.
So let's get the old D3. May as well do a live roll for you. 3 victory points, have that.
Up to 11.
secure objective 4, which we have right there.
12.
And secure objective 3, which is right in the middle, just there. So that's another 1 victory point at the end of my turn.
So you're up to 13.
So that puts us up to 13 victory points.
So Necrons 9.
Yeah, which is nice. And while I'm there, I may as well do another live roll for my Autarch. End of turn. Nope, that's for a command point. None, so I still have just the 1 command point. End of turn, Necron turn 4.
Okay, Necron turn 4. So currently Ulthwe is sitting on 13 victory points and Necron's sitting on 9. So I spent a command point to get rid of my last card, which was Kingslayer, just because I don't think it's achievable this turn. So these are the cards that I have got. This one, that one, and that one. And then also got priority orders received. I don't mind telling that. And that's what I got for that. Okay, so I dropped these back, kept him where he is, moved the Scarabs down from objective 6, moved the Cetan up, Destroyers stay where they were, Doomsday Arcs stay where they were, the Warriors have dropped out of combat, and the Cryptek stay where he was, and the Luminous Desires have dropped back a bit to allow the Warriors to drop back. So we're going to go into the shooting phase, and obviously just before that we'll do the Cetan powers. Okay, so end of shooting phase for Necrons. So we shot the Doomsday Arcs, the Gauss Flare Arrays into this Wave Serpent, and we shot the big guns into this Wave Serpent. This Wave Serpent went down to 5 from full health, so 8 wounds. Took off it. We shot the Heavy Destroyer, these Immortals. I think that was it. And ended up taking it out. Oh, it wasn't the Immortals actually, the Immortals shot into the Guardians and took the rest of them out. We done the Cetan power Sky of the Falling Stars. Which,
all the Guardians.
Yeah, all 3 Guardian squads all went through. And we done, I think we took off about 2 off of each. And then, I can't remember what actually took the final shot on that and killed it.
Neither can I. Was it the Cetan?
No, because the Cetan took out the Wrestling Guardians. Oh, maybe it was the Immortals. I don't know. Something shot it and took it out. And then we shot 3 of the Destroyers into the Warwalker and took that out, and we shot 2 of them into the Guardians, and I only actually took 1 Guardian out. I rolled poorly on them too. So now we're going to go into the charge and assault phase and see how that goes. Okay, end of Necron's turn 4. So, cards, we got Hold the Line, we got Big Game Hunter, and we got Overwhelming Firepower, and we actually got 3 units. So, roll a D3 for that. We got 2 points. So that puts us up to 13 points. So we are drawing
Neck and neck
with the Ulthwe. So nothing much happened in the assault phase. I charged in, fired the charge to the Scarabs, charged in with the Cetan. This Spirit Seer had a 4 up in Ron and managed to save the 2 wounds that got through. He fought back and actually took 2 damage off me. So not great for the Cetan god there. It's not being very godlike. Yeah, so we're going to go into Ulthwe turn 5. It's 13 points all. It's very, very close. John has 1 command point left. I have 2 command points. So
Can we improve on that?
Oh yeah, he's got to roll for his command point. Oh, nearly. Okay, so Ulthwe turn 5.
Right, start of turn 5. I'm looking a bit thin on the ground now, numbers wise, which isn't great. Use 1 command point to get rid of the card I didn't want anymore, and got 4 cards that I don't want at all. So we got this one to start with, which I think I may be able to get, but not to the highest level. We've then got this one here. Nope, not going to happen. We got this one here. Nope, not going to happen. And we got this one just here, which yes is feasible, hopefully will happen. So let's put that back down. So movement phase, all I've done, I've brought these guys a bit closer to the C-tab to see if we can shoot it. We've also just put Doom on him as well with one of the psychic powers, and we have put Embolden on that group of Guardians, the bigger group, and we've put Guide on this Wave Serpent just here. Otherwise, he fell out of combat, the little Spirit Seer, leaving the C-tab a bit open there, and the Wind Rider moved up from Objective 4. That's it, on to shooting phase. Right, there we go, end of the shooting phase, end of the charging phase, end of the turn. So basically I used the shooting phase to take out the C-tan, and also used it to take out the Scarabs. Bit of a waste of time, if I'm honest, actually. I should have probably just shot at the destroyers because I couldn't take out D3 units, which is the next step up, or 3 units or more rather. I charged in the Wind Rider to try and tie these boys in combat for at least a short term, but it wouldn't have worked anyway. But hey, what you got to lose, eh? So end of my turn, I managed to get 1 victory point for this, and 1 victory point for this. So that puts me up to 15 victory points, and Necron turn 5.
Okay, so end of Necron's turn 5. We destroyed the Wave Serpent. We killed Spirit Seer. We killed another couple of Guardians. This Guardian, do I need to take more? These Guardians. Oh, they've got
Embolden, Horrify, so...
Oh, the Embolden is giving them +2, so...
Add 2 to leadership, so it's 9, yeah, so then you're struggling apart.
Okay, so we shot loads of stuff into these. Them Guardians actually saved some loads of Ulthwe saves. We took out 4 Rangers, so the Rangers will need to take morale.
And they're 7.
Yeah, they lost 4. Oh, no, got rid of 1, so that's fine. So basically, cards wise, I only got Slaughter the Living, which gave me 1 victory point. I couldn't get the other 3 this turn, so that puts me up to 14 victory points to John's 15 victory points. We need to roll off to see if the game continues. So on a 3-up, it does continue.
I can't see it.
It's a 6. So the game will continue. There it is.
Not for long, I don't think.
So
I have
John's
5
got
models.
2 HQs, 1 Farseer and an Autarch, 2 Guardians and a Ranger. So we'll see what happens.
Quick turn, end of turn 6 for me. Did Doom on the Warriors, Guide on my Guardians, who has since attempted a charge in and got melted. Farseer has got in, he managed to lose himself a couple of wounds on the assault and a couple of wounds in combat. Autarch just decided to sit in the back like a pansy and not run forward. So that's the end of my turn. Nothing gained whatsoever. Still on 15 points.
Okay, so end of Necron turn 6. So at the end of the Ulthwe turn, you can see there had 3 models left. 1 was in combat with my Warriors, the Autarch was there, and the Ranger was there. We took out the Ranger. We there with the Immortals, I think actually. We then shot a few things at the Autarch. In the end, the whole unit of Destroyers shot the Autarch, took him down. And then we charged in Illuminous Desires and the Cryptek at the Farseer. He saved from them, and it came down to the last roll with the Warriors. The Warriors ended up, he had He saved 1 and 2 wounds went through, and he had 2 Ulthwe saves to make, and he didn't make them. So that is the end of the game. So ended up, I did get blood and guts because I took out the Farseer. So I actually did have 16 victory points to John's 15. So
I'd rather hold a 1 to continue. So,
oh, yeah, so we
potentially would have stopped there anyway if you survived.
Yeah. So it was a really, really good game. It's literally gone all day. But yeah, it's been excellent. Really enjoyed it.
Good game. Really good game.
Yeah, I mean, this is only John's second time playing.
Game with the Elder.
Yeah, second game playing with the Elder. So there's some stratagems and stuff which he later on was like, oh, I could have used that. And it's just, you know, learning the army and stuff like that. I think, again, I'm still learning the codex as well. So you sort of pick up things, new stratagems, that sort of thing. But yeah, really good game. And we'll hopefully get another one on the channel after this soon.